Who would have thought that this third test match would be where it is at the end of 2 days in Indore at the Holkar Cricket Stadium? Dinesh Karthik has dashed from the stadium back to his fancy hotel room and he's joined us on Cricbuzz Chatter. DK, it's a scorecard that will perhaps confuse the optimistic Indian fan. Where is this test match going? Can India win this test match? 76 runs for Australia to win their first test match in this series. They're 2-0 down. Where is this test match headed in that first session tomorrow?
I get the feeling strongly in favor of Australia because 75 is not a target that they'll be really worried about because yes, there are demons in the pitch, but not to the extent that will stop them from scoring 75. So definitely very much aligned towards Australia right now.
Right, 8 wickets for Nathan Lyon, who's just gone on to prove once again why he ranks among the absolute best in this part of the world. He ran through the Indian batting lineup, picked up his 50th Test wicket in India, 9-5 as well against India. If we saw vintage Pujara and a new avatar of Pujara as well from one end, we saw Lyon on a different planet as well. Your thoughts on what that man did?
He bowled beautifully. The conditions in many ways suited his kind of overspin that he bowls. He really kept the batsman at check. Any batter who didn't have a good defense was always going to struggle to him because then they would end up playing shots that's probably not their strength or that's probably not needed in that situation or not warranted in that pitch. And that's exactly what happened. The guys with the stronger defense survived. The guys who used their feet survived, but not the ones who didn't back their defense. And with the ball having the natural variation of the one going straighter, like the one he bowled to Bharat, I think playing him was a uphill task, and India obviously fell short in many ways.
Yes, he kept coming at the Indians, and the tide really turned for Australia once Lyon dismissed Pujara. But that angle from around the wicket to trouble Indian batsmen, he just seems to enjoy and relish these conditions. And I'm sure he would have sent a little friend request to curators across India as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think when he bowls around the wicket, what he's bringing into play is both the edges, the outside edge for the one that straightens and the inside edge for the one that turns. And he troubled a lot of batters with both of that. He got Rohit with the one that came in. He got KS Bharat with the one that went straight on. So as a bowler, he's very challenging. As a batter, if you don't have good solid defense to him, you don't cover the line, he always will get you into trouble. And you can see over a period of time why he is so successful, not only in India, all over the world as well. His revolutions on the ball, he is in many ways one of the best off spinners to have played the game. He's an absolute joy watching when he is in full flow. And today he was boy in full flow, and it was great to watch him unravel the Indian defense, so to say.
And he also got the wicket of Pujara caught by Steve Smith. Fantastic catch as well. But before that catch happened, Pujara showed us his class once again. I'm not sure if anyone's planning to write a biography on him, but one of the proposed titles could be The Crisis Man. Crunch situation. Once again, this guy puts his hands up, rises to the occasion. You've seen him up close, DK. How does he manage to do what he does in these situations? These are superhuman abilities.
Absolutely. I think he stood out among the 9 batters that have played for India. I think Akshar is the only one who looked really confident throughout his innings, but Pujara was boy in good flow. And what does he do when he's in good flow on spinning pitches like this? He uses the feet, but not just to attack, but defend a lot of the times. Consistently plays the ball along the ground. I think it's very much in his DNA not to loft. So you can see he's taking options where he's beating fielders and just beating the gaps for the odd single, keeps rotating strike, and when given an opportunity, if he gets a full ball, definitely threads it between the fielders and gets it to the boundary. Very effective in his gameplay. Yes, he hasn't been consistent, but you know why Team India has backed him. When you see a batter like this in tough conditions, tough situations, standing up and showing the world why he is so good, it's always a treat to watch Pujara bat the way he does for India. And may he go on to make those 50s and 60s into hundreds. And that's going to help India even further in the near future.
Right, a little more on Pujara from DK in the hotspot. In the age of T20 cricket, there's hell for leather batting, balls happening across the world as well. How difficult is it to be this classical, old school, gritty Pujara?
It's hard. I think in many ways you don't see many players just wanting to model themselves for the red ball game and then keep white ball as a second option. You see a lot of it, a lot of players going the other way where they play a lot of white ball cricket and keep red ball as an option if their technique is good enough. You don't get many Pujaras, many players with the mindset of Pujara as well. So he is an anomaly in today's world, but you can see why he's so special in trying conditions, in tough conditions, test cricket, 5 days, sometimes three these days, but the pressure is always on. And a player like Pujara is constantly switched on. Rarely will you see him make an error because of concentration. It could have been because of the pitch, it could have been various other things, but concentration is something that comes to him naturally. So he's a phenomenon as a batsman. He's one of those rare breeds who seems to have put red ball cricket as the priority, and it is great to watch a batsman like Pujara do what he does.
Yes, in the era of Drake and Eminem and Jay-Z and Snoop Dogg, there is room for proper old school Hindustani classical music. That's what Pujara represents in a sense, philosophically speaking. On the other hand, the one belief was that if India gets 260, 270, 280, it'll be good enough. But the other Indian batsmen seem to lose the plot a bit. Where did they go wrong?
I think shot making in these kind of pitches, I think it's the mindset of the batter that sometimes makes them do certain things because they know there could be this unplayable delivery around the corner. So they want to try and constantly be on top of the bowler consistently, and at times lack of defense.
Now, I saw this one moment, I'm sure you were in the commentary box, when they showed a glimpse of Rohit Sharma talking to Ishan Kishan. I suppose he was talking about go and tell Pujara to hit the big shots. Uh, was there enough logic in doing so? Because it's not easy to just suddenly up the ante and have this aggressive mindset. Gill, Kohli, Iyer try to fail when they're trying to up the ante, and that message from Rohit. What did you make of that whole passage?
Yeah, I got the feeling that I don't think he was speaking about Pujara because he will know it is not Pujara's DNA to play lofted shots or play aggressive shots if the need doesn't arise. And I don't think it was for him. I think it was for his partner at that stage, and he was trying to probably tell him to play a few shots because you get the feeling sitting outside that something is going to happen in favor of the bowler, and you want to make sure you're on top of it, and that is understandable. But we also saw players trying that, but not being successful. It's not an easy pitch to bat on. Let's make that very clear.
Right. Talking of pitches and players who suit these pitches, there's a question that's come in with hashtag Cricbuzz Chatter. It talks about how it comes in from Victor G. He says Hanscom mentioned that he's been primarily picked for this India series since he's a better batsman at handling spin and that he might not be the front runner in the Ashes. Should India also look for a similar approach when they pick batters for the home series?
I think we have to understand we're two different cricketing nations. We play the same sport, but we look at cricket very differently from an Indian perspective. Suppose we pick a couple of players who is just made to bat on these conditions, and let's take a case in point where they do well. Then when we go abroad or we play another test series where we're playing on different pitches, we wouldn't have the courage or the wherewithal to just let go the player because we feel it's not necessary and we're going for this horses for courses approach. It is very plausible in Australia. They've done it and they will back the decision. Even if Peter Hanscom is the highest run getter, they might go to the Ashes and not play and not make him even part of the 15, forget part of the playing 11. And Peter Hanscom will know the message is loud and clear as to where he is wanted and why he is not part of the Ashes. But try telling an Indian player who's the highest run scorer in pitches which obviously is hard to bat on, and then tell him that we feel you might not be able to, or we feel we have better batters to play in these conditions. It might be a hard sell, I can promise you that.
And India has enough players who can do well in both conditions. Pujara can score runs in Australia, he can score runs here. So can Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. There are enough quality batsmen in the Indian ranks to perform in any conditions. Let's talk about earlier today. 6 for 11 for Australia. Ashwin and Umesh Yadav really brought so much zing into this test match when we thought Australia were running away. India not in the driver's seat at all. But the Indian bowlers did give the team a chance, a semblance of a comeback.
I think what the bowlers did really well in the first hour was keep it tight. They didn't get wickets, 16 overs for 30 runs, zero wickets. But after that, when they got an opportunity, the first opportunity they got when Hanscom played a defense the wrong way, completely different to what you should do to when you play Ashwin. And then that was the first inroad for the Indians. And we have also seen this. When they get an opportunity, they seize it. And that's exactly what they did. 6 wickets for 11 runs, didn't let them breathe after that. put the foot on the throat and just didn't allow them to, get up post that. And that is something that is very credible of the Indian team. Bowlers have done a really good job, and they've got the opportunity. They've gone on to pick two, three, sometimes four, 5 wickets, and that happened yet again. Also, the fact that our lower order is so much more stronger than the Australian lower order again came to the fore today. And it was great to see Ashwin. But let's speak about Umesh Yadav. And I thought he
Oh
was
yes.
the most impressive fast bowler in both the teams. Bowled a terrific spell, showed why he is so good with the reverse swing, has a bit of a slingy action. So when the reverse swing comes into play, he is a handful. Great to see him pick, the 100 wickets that he's picked and become one of the better fast bowlers India has had over a period of time, especially in Indian conditions. He is a handful for any touring team.
Yes, one of my favorite visuals of this day was to see the stump cartwheeling. What a great sight it is for a fast bowler. Now, November 2011 is when Umesh Yadav made his debut. He's played only 54 test matches, played a lot in India, and he's always been the workhorse who wants to come hard. He's not too glamorous in the way he celebrates. Very quiet, very gentle man, but is someone who just gives it everything he has, and he features in the next episode of Rise of New India. It's a brand new Cricbuzz original, and the Umesh Yadav episode releases this Sunday at 12 noon. So do check it out. Is there a memory of Umesh Yadav, DK, that comes to your mind when you see him bowl like this?
Plenty of memories. I think the first time I played him was in a Dilip Trophy game, and it was South Zone versus Central Zone. That was where I saw him. It was in Bangalore, and we had a star-studded side. We had Rahul Dravid, we had VVS Lakshman, we had Robin Uthappa, and there was this young boy who looked, strong at the outset and bowled a couple of quick spells and got a couple of key wickets there and opened up the South Zone top order. And it was a terrific spell to watch, and he got a couple of bowls there as well. A couple of the tailenders, he really scared them actually with the bouncers. So he was sharp. You always knew he had talent. It's great to see what he's done in Test cricket.
And he will need to do a bit of a repeat, more than just a repeat, tomorrow morning when the Aussies come out to bat. What's in store on day three in the first session? Let's find out from DK in fast forward. 76 to chase. We've seen the conditions play out the way they have. We've seen Nathan Lyle bowl well. The Indian lower order has batted enough to read the conditions. They have enough intel. What are your expectations from the Indians in the first session tomorrow?
If they pick 3 to 4 wickets, I think that'll be good. But I do think Australia will walk home smiling away at their end by lunchtime. They'll have a very happy lunch for once, and they'll be very happy with the fact that they won one more Test match in India. Yes, the series is probably lost in many ways because India hold on to the series even if it's a 2-2 at the end of the series. But the fact that they've come to India and beaten India will take you have to give a lot of credit to them, and Steven Smith will be one hell of a happy captain.
There are a lot of these Instagram influencers who every day they talk about philosophy and life lessons and so on. They often say when you're down in the dumps, look back at a happy memory from the past. Let's do that because it might just help India's cause. It was your debut test match in 2004 that India won against all odds. DK, I'm sure you have memories of that, and I'm sure Rohit Sharma and co believe it's possible to do the same. 76 to chase on this track, India must believe they have a chance.
India will hope that Aussie batters play a few rash shots, but I honestly do think that Australia are very comfortable right now. As I said before, there are demons in this pitch, but not to the extent that you can stop Australia from scoring 75.
76 the target for Australia to win their first test match in this series. They trail 2-0. India will give it everything they have and hope for another 2.5 day finish in favor of India. It will be an absorbing session of cricket. Will Australia finish it then? Will India have a chance? Will the bowlers give India a chance? We'll find out. But it's been a pleasure talking to Dinesh Karthik, and I'm sure we'll have him back at the end of the test match tomorrow. Whether it will be in India's favor or Australia's, let's wait for us to find that out. For now, it's goodbye from all of us here on Cricbuzz Chatter.